ghouls, goblins, zombies, and even Updog. All creatures that strike fear into the hearts of those unfortunate enough to cross paths with them. And that's exactly what we're going to talk about today. Fear. No, not that. We're going to talk about Alien Isolation. Even though it's no longer Halloween and we're kind of going into the holiday season, I think it's pertinent that we take a second and reflect on one of the greatest pieces of horror media to grace us within the past decade. Taking place 15 years after the original Alien movie, you play as the daughter of Ellen Ripley, seeking to crack the case of your mother's disappearance. The game just celebrated its 10th birthday and still holds up better than a variety of AAA titles that came out in this year of 2024, and I think we can break it down into three main tenets. First being, difficulty in games can be determined by several qualities, but in this specific instance, I think it makes sense to talk about the D word. From the first moments that you step onto Sevastopol Station, you are acutely aware that something is going on. People are acting weird, if not outright hostile, and you find out pretty quickly what that is. From here on out, you are perpetually being hunted by a hyper-lethal alien. The game is telling you that you are the coughing baby and it is the hydrogen bomb. And no, this isn't like a DMC5 prologue situation where if you outskill the first boss, you can beat them and get a secret ending. No, if Ripley and Xenomorph 1v1 on Final Destination, she gets JV5'd. Full stop. So very quickly you learn that this, like many other survival horror titles, is a lot about resource management. You have a small array of tools available at your disposal and more that you can craft later on down the line, but if you run out of revolver ammo early on, you can't just buy more in a vending machine. You're gonna have to engage with the game's other systems. Quick sidebar here, do y'all remember that one level in the RE4 remake where you're playing as Ashley, walking through the basement of the castle, and it's just you and that fucking lamp? Think about how different that specific portion of the game felt compared to everything else. What I'm trying to say is that the developers in that instance chose to intentionally disempower you, and it evokes a completely different set of emotions than what the rest of RE4 Remake does. You don't have a gun or a knife that can fucking parry bullets and shit. The developers are intentionally kneecapping you in that situation and disempowering you. They want you to feel a completely distinct, unique set of emotions that you haven't probably felt for the rest of that game. So you can't kill anything, but you can hide or run as your only defense mechanisms. The thread I'm trying to draw between Ashley level and Alien Isolation is that you're weaker than what you're fighting. And by pure nature of that engagement, you're gonna play the game that the developers want you to. In Alien, you're essentially playing cat and mouse, and you are fucking Remy Ratatouille. We've been conditioned by recent trends in media and gaming to gravitate towards top 10s and meta and lunch leave Mr. Beast Feastable. Disempowering players forces them to make something from nothing, and in turn empowers them to think creatively and use whatever's in their toolbox currently to solve the puzzles in front of them, even if they're missing a few pieces to that puzzle. It also makes it really fucking scary. What separates good horror from ungood horror? It's all about tension. If you're watching a ungood horror movie, it's usually because it's predictable. You're not gonna get frightened by the umpteenth jump scare that you saw coming. Any good piece of horror media is going to build tension. It's gonna plant that seed of fear and uneasiness and let it blossom. And although Alien's pretty forward with what you're supposed to be afraid of, it's never because of the same reason. The tempo never gets to be the same beat or one note. It's syncopated. Sometimes it's quiet, sometimes it's loud, sometimes you're alone, and sometimes you have a lot of friends nearby. The atmosphere is always heavy on your shoulders, and while it's a bit superficial to say it has a good story, I truly think they wrote some compelling characters here. You don't have people falling into that typical horror movie logic of, ooh, what's that sound in the basement? I'm gonna go check it out alone. No. Alien subverts this entirely. What I mean is that it's martial law out there. People are fending for themselves, resources are scarce, they're not gonna hesitate to put themselves above you. In my opinion, the best example is just how often Ripley gets hung out to dry and just left for dead. The citizens of Sevastopol Station are honestly a case study on trolley problems and utilitarian actions, because almost every interaction between two NPCs goes like, hey boss, if I press this big red button, I'm gonna separate the alien from the rest of the ship and save us all. Are there any downsides? Yeah, we totally kill Ripley. Yeah, we're nuking that bitch. Going back to the tempo comment for a second, you don't always know what's gonna happen next. While the game only has one distinct ending, it comes at a cost. It just feels real. People betray you and backstab and panic, even if it's for a fraction of a percentage to increase their chances of survival. And it makes you think, would I have done that? Moving away from broader strokes for a second, I want to hone in on in the few moments of peace that you have on Sevastopol Station. I found myself taking a large amount of joy in some oddly mundane things, be it using the ion torch to open a panel, or hacking into a door with the security access tuner, or pulling a damn lever. These things matter. They have weight to them, and I promise it's deeper than press F to pay respects. I remember playing Final Fantasy 16 earlier this year, and after one of the fights, having your path be blocked off, and you had to walk up to a pile of rubble and hold R2 to progress. The controller vibrates a bit, some sound comes through the speakers, and then you move on through and keep going. I distinctly remember thinking to myself, like, damn, they really need to sell these controllers, huh? Instances like that are kind of the perfect non-example of meaningless action or input from the player that doesn't add anything to the game. And Alien, I think, takes these small interactions and makes them have weight and significance. If you open a door, people are gonna hear it. If you hack into something and take too long, computer's gonna beep and you're gonna get your head taken off by Mama Alien back there. I'm not trying to dunk on the DualShock 5 or adaptive triggers, because I think the whole tactile experience of it all provides another interesting layer of engagement between game and player. What I'm trying to say though is that those actions need to have weight and importance, and Alien makes them all matter immensely, because everything you do makes noise. And in a game where you're trying to be quiet, and if you get detected, you get taken out back, and she fucking old yellers your ass. Like, it fucking matters. Like, you hack into something, and it matters. You open a door at the wrong time, and boom, you're dead. It's so quick and so instant. Something as small and insignificant as opening a door is made to be this grand decision that is quite literally life or death. They made all of these systems and inputs interact with each other, and I don't think that there's a better example than the radar scanner. I'm going to be trite here for a second and dunk on Ubisoft for the millionth time, but the Assassin's Creed franchise really popularized this mechanic of X-ray eagle vision, being able to see through walls and just snipe people with your omniscient knowledge. And while I can appreciate how that was innovative and cool in 2007, it just does not hold up in 2024 standards. Alien's riff on this is genius for so many different reasons. From a gameplay perspective, the player needs some kind of information on where enemies are and where you are in relation to them. And it isn't just as simple as a prompt coming up saying press Y to counter Batman, but rather something that gives you just enough information to survive, but not break the tension either. It works pretty intuitively. It's a radar that pulses every couple of seconds and flashes dots on your screen with wherever anyone is, and also shows you the proximity or distance they are from you in the bottom left as well. And it makes sense thematically given the setting you're in, where all the technology is sort of 80s, 90s, and analog feeling as well, because like it makes sense. Why the fuck does Altair and Ezio have X-ray vision? It just makes no fucking sense. In stark contrast to the Eagle X-ray vision that Assassin's Creed loves to give you, the radar scanner has a drawback in that it makes noise, and everyone can hear what you're doing as well. This is a game of trade-offs. If you want to get information on where people are, they might gain information on where you are. If you want to hide in lockers, the alien's gonna learn that you hide in lockers. And if you give a mouse a cookie, what I'm trying to say is that you're never fully comfortable when you play this game. You are a woman alone, estranged from her crew, on a decrepit space station, doing anything she can to claw her way back to safety. This game may be a decade old, but is an absolute masterclass in disempowering characters to create a tense, heavy atmosphere that forces players to think outside of the box and engage in ways they wouldn't have previously. So, in summary, go play Alien Isolation and go play more horror games. I don't know. Thanks for making it this far in the video. If you want to support, feel free to leave a like or subscribe. I hate shilling for likes, but it's the best way to support this channel, ensure that I put out more content in the future. I also stream from time to time, and you can find out when I'm going live next by checking the Discord link in the description. Also, this video is only possible thanks to viewers like GP for suggesting that we play this game. So thanks again, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.